be yet, and I wanted to make sure it fit with what I was playing on the guitar.
Yeah. No, you're right. In the recording process, anytime I've ever recorded, we always start with drums, and then you go guitar, and then you go bass, and then last of all, it's vocals, you know?
Right.
The standard stuff. No, that's cool, man. What studio did you go to? I have an idea. I just didn't want to say it because I don't know if you're using the studio I'm thinking of.
The Orange Park School of Music.
Okay.
They have a studio called the Outback Studio. It's a 24 by 24 square that's really tall.
Wow.
And there's no separate rooms inside. There's just a small corner sectioned off for a bathroom. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is just open.
That's cool.
Oh, man. I've got some stories to tell you about recording in there.
No, I mean, it's awesome, man. It sounded like you definitely had a vision and you went in there and you executed it the way you felt was the best way to do it. So if you could kind of talk about that process for you, even tell me your crazy story about being in that studio. And were you by yourself? Were you getting any feedback from anybody else, or was it just you in there with your mind, with your ideas?
No, I was in there by myself for the most part. My friend Will, who's a cinematographer, did come in once, but we worked on something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So the guitar riff actually sprang up a while before I went into the studio, and it's that main one that it opens with. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And that actually came from one of my mentors. His name's Mr. Todd. He owns the School of Music, saying that metal didn't have a lot of harmony because they only used power chords. And I thought about that, and I said, I'm going to change that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, this isn't metal, this is rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I had recently bought a fuzz pedal, and I was losing my mind over it because it sounded great. Yeah. And I thought, it's $20, by the way. It's a very shit pedal, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm using this $20 pedal. I'm using my main guitar, which is made out of scraps that are probably worth $60 during inflation. And I said, you know what? Let's just make a grunge song. And that's how that came to be.
Yeah. No, I feel like the sound of Wake is a grunge song that is very much inspired by a metal sound, because there's even a part where you just kind of shift the sound from it sounding kind of grungy to a more modern melodic song, man. And for your teacher, there are some bands out there that do execute, metal in that way. And I know sometimes for certain people, if it's not, it's because, what you hear in the mainstream of metal, as opposed to actually, what other bands are doing around the world and stuff like that. Like, I mean, Fit for a King started out as that, I would say, more metalcore sound, and they've kind of more developed into something more melodic, more art inspired and stuff like that, which is something a lot of people don't give those guys some credit for. But no, definitely the sound of it, it sounds like your goal was to sound grungy, but it sounds like you brought in some other elements. So it wasn't like you just were like, this is going to be the sound. It sounded like you incorporated some metal. There was even some, even during the solo, the way the tempo carries is just, it's amazing to me, that I was still listening to the same song and was getting, and I don't feel like you missed anything, which is amazing to me. Like, when you say you recorded all of this by yourself, I'm just like blown away. One, is this your first song that you recorded by yourself?
I have done demos in the past, and actually it would sound better, but I only mixed it in about 5 hours.
Wow. No, I think so.
I didn't.
No, go ahead.
I didn't have the quality of the luxury of time because I mixed it on my last day. I didn't have a lot of time because people had to come back in later that day. And, I had to get packed up. So I mixed it as fast as I could, as best I could, going from drums to guitars. By the way, fun fact, there are, I think, about 48 guitar tracks in total on that song.
Holy crap. Oh my God, that's insane.
because
wow.
every guitar,
Yeah.
so I use the overdrive, really overdriven, of a 1970s PV Deuce that I bought. Clean amp takes a monstrous amount of gain to get it to distort even a little bit.
Wow.
And it's loud. It's the loudest amp I've ever played on. I never turned it above 2.
Yep.
And it was shaking the walls of the studio.
Damn, that's crazy. So basically in your recording process, it sounded like you probably took some chances and had to, learn a few things while you were in there, a little trial by fire, if you will. All I'm going to say to you is keep working at it, man, because I have a friend, Brandon, who I've known for, going on 2 years now. And when he first started, he was kind of like, I don't really think I'm that good at recording. And now here it is, less, like I said, almost 2 years. And I think he's probably one of the best producers here in the New England area. So keep working at it, man. And you're going to find your niche. You're going to find out what exactly works for you. With that being said, are there plans for you to put out a record or an EP? What are some of your thoughts about maybe going forward with another song? Because I'm going to tell you, I think the song is really great and it shows a lot of potential that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have enough material for a full-length album release plus an EP.
Wow.
Written down. I'm currently working on 2 songs to finish an LP. Then I'm going to go in to record it after this college audition that I have coming up. And it's going to be, I believe, 13 or 14 full-length songs long.
Wow.
And there's quite a large variety of stuff in there because, as you said before, I'm inspired from a lot of things. And one of those, my main idea is putting out music that is meaningful to me because music is one of the only ways I have an emotional output. Because dealing with autism and, trying to find ways to appropriately vent frustration and anger and stuff like that, the only one I have found that is so far, works effectively enough to use it often is music. I'll just go in my room, I'll turn up my headphones so I can't hear anyone, and I'll just listen to music.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
No, it is. It's extremely beautiful. I remember when I first got into music, or I really decided that music was my thing, a lot of people were just like, oh, well, you're just listening to heavy, aggressive, angry music. But a lot of people didn't realize it was a reflection of some of the hurt and pain I was feeling inside of myself. And it was the only way I knew how to be me, how to express how I was. And, you get a lot of arguments from people. Oh, well, a lot of what you listen to is just devil worshiping music rather than, yeah, exactly. Because it's loud and aggressive. Yeah, no, I'm sure you get that when you listen, when your friends or other family members hear something and they're like, oh, Colin, what is that?
Yeah, occasionally.
Exactly. Instead of recognizing that whatever it is a reflection of who you are and it fits what you're into. And I find a lot of artists that I find myself falling in love with, which is a constant thing for me. There's so many bands. Somebody will ask me, oh, well, what's your favorite song? And it's just like, depends on what day it is. Because there's so much music out there that fits me. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about the song Wake. If you just kind of want to tell me, where, some of the lyrics, the first line hits me. And I felt the same thing that you felt when you were saying that line. Let's talk a little bit about what Wake is about.
Okay, real quick, before we move on to that and start getting just a touch depressed, I want to tell you about something really funny that happened during the recording process, because I am still laughing my ass off about it to this day. So in the recording studio, I mentioned it's a square. The bottom right corner, you have the door outside. Bottom left corner, you've got the bathroom. Top left corner, you've got the in between the top left and the bottom left, you've got the computer with the DAW on it. And then on the complete opposite top right freaking corner, you've got the drum kit. And so when I was miking the drum kit and doing sound tests, I'd have to press record, run to the drum kit, play, run back, make the adjustments that I thought sounded good.
Yeah.
Because I had to work on intuition. I couldn't hear anything.
Exactly.
I couldn't directly, because I didn't have enough space on the interface.
Yeah.
For the toms. So I had to run the toms into a separate board, mix them together there. The toms took me 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Just the toms. And I was playing, running back, press record, going back, playing, running back, and it took me 3 hours plus the rest of the mic placement. And it was hilarious.
No, it sounds like Tom and Jerry, like you're just like running from room to room trying to make sure you're getting everything you need to. That's funny.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh,
took me forever. And finally when I got it right, I'm like,
done.
Don't touch that.
Exactly. Don't you dare touch that, you son of a bitch. Like, that is the sound. That's crazy, man. Definitely sounds like it was a little bit of a challenging process there for you, but hey, man, you did what you had to do to get the sound you wanted, and I mean that's what it takes. But anyways, let's talk about Wake, man. Go ahead and hit me with your meanings and what you're willing to discuss about the song.
Okay, so the song, there's a quote from Dave Grohl, I believe, and it says, that you can sing a song to 85,000 people, and they'll sing it back to you for 85,000 different reasons. And that, I think, embodies exactly what I think music is, because take the song Diary of Jane, for example. That song, nobody knows what it means. Absolutely no one. There's theories.
Who's Jane? Who's the diary? Why is she having a diary?
Jane?
Yeah, exactly.
And that song helped me personally get through really difficult times. Like, for a while, this is going to sound stupid, but I was in love with my best friend, and I didn't know, as an autistic kid, how to deal with that. And so for a year, I just kept it to myself. Meanwhile, she was platonically saying, I love you, and all this stuff, and it was kind of eating away inside. I finally told her, got friend zoned, and those feelings didn't disappear. And those feelings didn't disappear for an entire year until she cut me off entirely.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, Colin.
And no, it's fine. It's in the past now. But at the time, I didn't know how to comprehend it because I was still trying to figure out my feelings in general and how to deal with them. And the Diary of Jane, not the acoustic version, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you know this, but on Phobia, there's a hidden acoustic track of Diary of Jane. And that's the one I listened to. And there's a theory that, it's about, this was the theory I used at the time. It's about a guy who's best friend in the entire world. They do everything together. They go out every night, everything. Kills herself. And he finds her diary. And he reads it, and he realizes he's not mentioned anywhere in the diary.
Wow.
I still try to find my place in the diary of Jane.
Oh, wow.
And in that regard, I took it as, what did I mean to this person for them to be able to just like that out of their lives completely?
Wow.
And that's something I'm very self-conscious about to this day. And I took all of those ideas in mind when I was making Wake. So I purposefully made it so that on the surface, it's a song about addiction. I love it when you drown me, when your needle's breaking my skin. That's, say, heroin or some other injected drug.
Yeah.
My friends all see me drowning in sin. People, your friends are sitting around watching you throw your life away without really being able to do much themselves.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, it's your decision, your choice. I've never done drugs. So, but in doing this, I also purposefully made two other meanings that would be able to go along with those lyrics.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people to interpret it differently. And so to make sure they could, I wanted to be sure I could as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so the second